commercial realtors use an MLS? That's a question that I've received a lot. And there's several different reasons why a commercial realtor does not use a MLS or use one as similar as residential realtors do. And today we're going to talk about that. And a major reason why commercial realtors aren't using a systematic MLS the way residential realtors are is that there's a huge variety in commercial real estate. So there's a lot of very different segments in the market, like brokers who specialize in selling hotels and other brokers who might work with developers who build houses. And because of that variety, usually the individuals or the companies that are active in a certain industry or space are not going to be active in others. If you're a hotel buyer, likely you would buy hotels in multiple different cities throughout the U.S. So the market for where you're going to look for a potential hotel is much larger. And MLSs are typically very regional. So they might cover very specific counties within a state, and there's not a MLS that, so to speak, that covers the entire U.S. Because of that, many commercial brokers will rely on exterior platforms that are specific to commercial real estate and can provide a nationwide exposure if you're in an industry that dictates that, like the hotel buyer example that we provided. Home buyers generally, if they're looking to purchase a home, they're looking in a very specific area or maybe even county-wide, but that area is not very large. So the home buying market works very well for having a systematic MLS network, but there's a lot of buyers and there needs to be a system where all properties basically go into one MLS system, and then all the buyers in a specific area can see what's available. But unlike home buyers, there's typically much fewer commercial buyers. So back to our hotel example, there might be a group of maybe 20 that are very active buyers within the Northeast United States. And because there's very few buyers relative to that product type, usually a broker is going to know who all the buyers are and will be in personal contact with them. And so there's less of a need to have a large network, so to speak, because it's much more of an individualized relationship. And also with companies that might operate within a certain industry, it's a very similar concept where the brokers typically know who those companies are and will have contacts. Let's say you're selling a site that would be perfect for a gas station in a particular county. There might be a total of 5 companies that are active gas station owner developers within that county. So your pool of potential buyers is not very large, and as an agent, you could reach out to them directly. And typically with commercial, you do have companies that are operating in multiple states. And because of that, again, like we shared, the commercial websites tend to be a much better way to manage and help buyers across state lines than an MLS that has a smaller network. One of the key differences between residential and commercial as well is the fact that with residential, there's a requirement on brokers when they list a property. If they're a participant in the MLS, they must put that property in. Now there's some disagreement and maybe dissension for brokers nowadays whether that's going to continue to be the case in residential, but that's been mandated for quite a while. Because of that, residential realtors systematically put all the properties in the MLS. But in commercial, there is no such mandate. A broker is not required to list it publicly anywhere or otherwise share that information. And so the sharing of information, because it's not required, is just an option for the commercial broker, which sometimes they will do and other times they will not do because they might want to sell it to their buyer and not share it with the open market. So those are a couple of reasons why commercial is not listed in your traditional residential MLS, and it works on a different platform and with a different system. So if you're looking for commercial real estate investments, would be apartments, 5 units or more, or other commercial assets, please reach out to us. We're happy to help.